everybody. Welcome back to What's on D's TV, my commentary podcast on movies, shows, music, all things media that I love, that I listen to, that I watch. My name is D. Housekeeping rules is the same. They're always the same. You can disagree. We don't have to be mean about it. Feel free to comment any questions, comments, concerns in the comments below. And feel free to contribute to the conversation as well. I have a guest today. Introduce yourself.
Hey guys, hello.
That's not how you do it. Try again. And today we're going to be talking about Mo is my sister, sorry. And today we're going to be talking about Agatha All Along, episodes 6 through 7. Again, if y'all have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to put them in the comments below. All right, getting into it. So, episode 6 opens up. It's Billy's episode, William Kaplan's episode. And they open up to his bar mitzvah, his ceremony. And I was like, blue really is his color, because he looked great in the blue. And then I said that I love that they're showing us his ceremony, because I've never been to a bar mitzvah. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happens there. So I like that they showed us what was happening.
But how do we know that that's really happening?
I know I was going to say, if it's not a honest portrayal, I apologize. Mm-hmm. But it was cool that they were showing us some of his background. And then I was saying how I liked his relationship with his parents at his ceremony, when they were like hugging him and telling him how proud they were of him and everything. I was like, oh,
that's cute.
Yes. And then when they went to like the dancing around him and having him in the chair, mm-hmm. I was like, I would be terrified to fall out the chair. That's what my fear would be.
Yeah, you gotta have balance.
Well, because there's no sides to the chair. I was like, if there was sides, then I would be.
Well, I think you just imagine the chair being regular instead of in the air.
I don't know if that would work for me, but I get what you're saying. If that works for you, all power to you. Must be nice to have control over your brain, because I cannot. And then when he went to Lilia's booth, I was like, Lilia. And then I said, nah, because that would be me when she was like giving me your right palm, mm-hmm. to give you a palm reading. He's like, but don't tell me everything. I was like, that would be like me. Don't tell me everything about my future. Tell me some good stuff. Not even good stuff. Tell me some things, but don't tell me everything. I don't need to know everything. That's terrifying to me, personally. Would you want to know everything? I wouldn't. Like, because what if they're like, oh, this is when you're going to pay? I'd be like, no. You'd want to know because it's like a warning, but it's also like, that's all you're going to think about for the rest of your life.
And like, what if it's like the next day?
Exactly. I'd rather it be a surprise.
Right.
I'd rather it be a surprise.
I think you can just tell me when I'm getting married.
Huh?
I said, really, just tell me when I'm getting married.
Ew. Ooh. Tell me when I'm getting married, so I know not to do that. Because yuck. And then when she was having her psychic moment, when Lilia was having her psychic moment in her booth and the lights were flickering on off, I was like, you gotta pay that light bill, girl. And then when she was like, your lifeline is split into two, and she's like, but it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. I'm like, no, that can only be negative to me. What do you mean my lifeline is split in two?
How is that negative? That sounds like
your lifeline is split in two?
Lifeline.
Like, to how long you're going to be alive?
So how is that negative?
No. I want a nice long lifeline. I don't want no splits nowhere.
But like, if you die, then you immediately start the next one.
Pass.
So like you won't even notice there's like a time difference between the two.
I would have been like, you know what? Don't even tell me that. Just let's skip the lifeline part.
That's
all right.
crazy.
So I don't care what she talk about. Let's skip that. I don't need to know that. And then she goes, I wouldn't worry. I was like, that's fucking crazy. I would be nothing but worried. Oh no. And then she was like, enjoy the now. That would make me feel like I'm dying soon. If somebody's like, enjoy the now. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
What do you mean by that?
Exactly. What do you mean by that? And then I was like, maybe that's just me though. Nah. And then I said, so she's the sigil caster because you saw her write in the sigil on the stone. I don't know if it's a stone. The block, the wooden block, maybe.
What's sigil?
Sigil to where he couldn't tell, witches wouldn't know who he is. She was drawing the sigil on the.
Oh, so she kept his identity secret.
Yeah.
From Agnes.
And then immediately forgot from all the witches. From and then immediately forgot. Which is funny because yes, her memory lapses anyway, but the sigil also works like that. The witch who casts it forgets as well. So I thought that was funny because you don't know if it's just the witch casting it forgetting or if it's regular Lilia, you know what I mean? And then I was like, do they traditionally have palm reading ceremonies or palm reading booths at ceremonies like this, at bar mitzvahs?
I feel like,
cause like I feel
for their child.
I don't know if religions are like, yes, psychics, yes, palm reading, yes, witchy stuff. You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
But I could be wrong. Yeah, so if we're wrong, just be like, girl, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about, and I will agree. And then when they were, where was it? I'm trying to figure out. I said Wanda. I don't know why I said Wanda though. I don't know what that's in reference to. Let's ignore that note.
We'll come back to it.
And then I said, so remember when he left Lilia's booth and he forgot his jacket? Yeah. And then when they were like, oh, we got to get out of here because Westview's don't do it no more. Oh. Westview's, you know, what the spell that Wanda cast. Yeah. It's leave, you know, before it exploded or whatever, before it left. So I was like, how did he get reconnected with his jacket? Because she didn't remember whose jacket it was.
Maybe they saw it hanging?
I don't know. She just handed it to a random person and was like, whose is it? And she's like, I don't know.
I thought she gave it to somebody and said, give this to...
No, she was like, somebody left their jacket in my booth. And the lady was like, whose? She's like, I don't know.
Well, they probably figured out because he's the only one not wearing a jacket, maybe. So,
or maybe it matches what he had on. Okay. And then this was when they are in the car and they're trying to get out of there, and then they hit the tree. I was like, they hit that tree hard. Oh, they hit that tree hard. And then I was like, the way you can hear the moment William's heart stops beating and Billy enters his body is crazy.
So then that means Billy was dead.
Well, yeah, because remember Tommy and Billy were disappearing in WandaVision, remember?
Oh, yeah.
So that moment was when the red was disappearing, Wanda's spell was... Yeah. And then they showed Alice, because she's a cop. I was like, Alice! Alice! Girl, what is wrong with you? And then I was like, knowing now that he created everything is so funny because you can see how he discovered the Coven members. And I just thought that was hilarious. Like, I'll explain more. But you see Alice, and she's the cop. Yeah. And I just thought that was funny. You saw Lilia. She's the sidekick. Thought that was funny. And I'm getting to that. Oh. And then, so this is when he was in the hospital, and he can hear everybody's thoughts. Because remember, that was Billy's power In WandaVision, he can hear I fucking wouldn't. No, my brain is already loud. I don't want to
act for certain people.
No, but that's the thing. You hear everybody's. Unless it's like Agatha, where you can't read her mind, you hear everybody's thoughts. No, that would drive me up the fucking wall. My brain is already loud. I don't need everybody else's thoughts added into it. No. No. Mm-mm. And then, I was like, I would fucking hate to be able to hear other people's thoughts. And then I was like, because they were walking into the house, and I was like, he do not know these people, because again, he's Billy now.
Uh-huh.
William is dead. He's Billy. He's like, I do not know these people. And then the dog started barking at him. I was like, and that dog don't know him.
Dogs know him.
But the dog was like, who the fuck is that? And then, I said again, I was like, hearing people's thoughts sounds terrible. And then I said, the show does a really great job with pacing. So you can discover things. It doesn't feel like you're rushed into discovering it, and it doesn't feel like it gives everything away too quickly.
Yeah, no.
Exactly.
I hate that from this one, from this show.
You hate that it does that? Or
no, I said I didn't get that from this show.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. And then I said, it must have felt crazy going from being Billy Maximoff to William Kaplan.
Who the heck is William Kaplan?
That's William. That's the body he's in is William.
Hold on. Okay, wait. Hold on.
Billy Maximoff is Wanda's son. William Kaplan is the body he's in now. William Kaplan died, and now Billy is in his body.
Okay, but wait. So that Billy is not not grown up Billy?
Or so you see yes.
Okay.
So when the spell broke, when Wanda's spell broke, remember they were little boys. I think they were like 10.
Yes.
So he went from being 10-year-old to Billy Kaplan, 10-year-old Billy Maximoff, to being, I think he was supposed to be 13. He ain't look 13, because I think that's when they do bar mitzvahs, when you turn 13.
I think so.
So 13-year-old William Kaplan, Billy Maximoff, 10-year-old Billy Maximoff is in 13-year-old William Kaplan's body.
Okay.
So, but aside from the age thing, I'm like, it must be weird to be in a completely different person's body. Like, he has to look in the mirror and be like, who the fuck is this? This is not what I look like.
But, like, I'm confused, though.
Why? William is dead.
No, I gotta wait till last episode to ask this question. Let me write it down.
Yeah. And don't say it again. Don't say it when you do that. I'm gonna wait till
when I first did it, I told you when you ended it.
No.
So,
but just say it in your brain though, because I'm gonna be like, what you wanna know? Don't do that.
I'll ask you when it's over. Actually, I'll ask you when it's over, because I'm gonna forget. I already forgot what the question
was. Just put it. Oh my god, y'all see what it's like. I'm trying to stay on track. It's her. Blame her. And then my next comment was gay, because it showed him and the boy.
Asia?
It showed him and his boyfriend in the car. My next comment was, and then you pointed out what you pointed out, and it's all I see now. His boyfriend's name is Eddie.
I wonder if they're related, because they look exactly
Say what you
alike.
Say what you say.
Okay, so you said his name's Eddie?
Yes.
When I first saw it, not gonna lie,
and I'm sitting there minding my business, being like, oh, gay. And then go ahead.
When I first saw it, I thought Aisha D was in the show. I was like, oh, look at Aisha D. And
now that's all I see when I look at him.
It was not.
For people who don't know, Aisha D played Kat in The Bold Type.
Yeah.
Beautiful woman.
It was not her.
They do look a lot alike, though.
Like, how did you not see it when you first saw it?
Because I wasn't paying attention to that. I was just like, oh, more gay.
Which would make you pay attention, I would think.
No. And then I was wondering, because I was like, wait.
If I'm yelling, my bad.
So was Billy Maximoff gay? And then William Kaplan was also gay. And then he's like, I found me another gay body to be in. You know what I mean? Or is William Kaplan gay because Billy Maxwell? You get what I'm saying? I was like, how did that work?
I feel like
they was both gay. Yeah, because I think I don't know nothing. I don't know shit about the comics. I don't read comics. It's okay. You saying what I'm saying, but
I'm not.
I think in the comics, Billy Maximoff is gay.
Yeah, but
Wiccan is gay anyway.
Okay, but
now you know how it feels. Now you know how it feels, huh? What was you saying?
I don't even want to say anything.
No, go ahead. What was you saying?
I'm not talking to you.
Okay,
guys, I'm talking to y'all. So I was gonna say, I think Billy is gay, but William was straight. But since it's Billy, he's gay.
I think they're both gay. I don't think William was straight at all. William never gave straight.
We don't even know.
William did not give straight. Please. Please. And then, oh yeah, so this was when was this? Hold on. I was like, how has he survived this long with being able to hear other people's thoughts? That would drive me crazy. What?
Did we skip the whole garage thing?
We didn't get to that part yet.
I could have sworn.
No, we didn't.
That was after the boyfriend.
We're still at the boyfriend part. My God. And then I was like, Eddie is so handsome. And then I was like, I mean, he does look like Aisha, so obviously you're going to be beautiful. And then when William was like, I sound crazy, and Eddie was like, no, I'm into it. I was like, yeah, he into crazy.
Oh, okay.
And then this was after Billy I'm calling him Billy.
What's his name?
William, whatever. After Billy told Eddie everything that was happening and how he feels like he became a different person after the accident and all that.
Yeah.
So they went to Billy's room so he can show him everything. And I was like, I love how the room has a completely different vibe now. Remember when he was like, put the guns away because he was taking off his jacket? He's like, no, put the guns away. I got to concentrate. Gay.
Distracted.
Gay. But I was like, I love the new feeling of the room. It was very dark and like witchy, and I love that. And then when he opened up his computer to show Eddie all the evidence he gathered that it was witches and whatnot, the first video that popped up was Jen. I was like, Jen, like talking about her, and he was like, look at her skin. Like, of course, how could I not pay attention? I was like, you better give Jen her tins. And then, so when Eddie was like, oh, I thought that was an Avengers training thing, the spell and everything like that. How William was saying how, no, it was a witch's, their runes. It was a witch's spell.
Yeah.
And Eddie was like, oh, I thought it was an Avengers training. So I was like, so they know about the Avengers? Like, Avengers is public knowledge? Because you know how...
she's in Avengers.
I know, but you know how some superhero stuff, like, oh, it's a secret identity. People don't know about it. No. Like with Superman, it's a secret identity. Folks don't know that he's Superman. I don't know how.
Superman?
Yeah, but so that's what I'm saying. I was like, so Avenger... Okay, I get what you're saying then. I guess that's true. Because I was just like, it's not a secret. Like, we're secretly helping the world if that's what they're doing. I have only watched one Avengers movie, and it was just for Captain Marvel, and I was bored. So, I mean, I did see Wanda wasn't in that one. The what is it? The big one where Thanos snapped.
She is in that one.
She is?
Yes.
Okay. So, hey, mama. Yes. So that was the one that I saw, and it was all right. I was not paying. I was there for Captain Marvel, Wanda. Who else was in that? I think that was it. I think I saw a little bit of Thor, but I was bored, so I stopped watching. The one where he smashed the cup, he's like, this, I like smash another. Remember when they were in the baker?
That part, though.
Yeah, that's the part. That's the only part I remember. And that Kat Dennings is in it. You know Kat Dennings?
Yeah.
I love Kat Dennings.
Two broke girls.
Yeah, but she was also in WandaVision.
I know. I'm saying that's where I've seen her from.
Anyway, we're back on track. Sorry. So yeah, so I was like, wait, so their public knowledge is not a secret. You explained it. Thank you for that.
They got you.
And then he was saying, Billy was saying how he found information about Westview on Reddit. And I was like, you can trust everything from Reddit. Not for nothing. I've gotten some great advice and knowledge from Reddit. I don't know. Might just be me. But I've gotten some great advice from Reddit. Some great knowledge from Reddit. Maybe it's just the threads I follow.
But I'm not on Reddit.
Oh, you should be. They're great. If you got questions, ask Reddit. And then I said I would never meet someone in a random dark parking garage though. Like when they were sitting in the car and then it was like, I need more coffee. I was like, yo, you need to get your black ass out of there. Why are you in somebody's random dark parking garage to meet somebody from Reddit? That I will never do.
That is suspicious.
That I will never do.
But like, what if?
No, there's no what if. That's how you. What if gets you killed? Mind your business.
But I'm just saying, what if?
What if what?
Tells you to meet her.
What if who tells me to meet
Catherine? You going?
No, I wouldn't fucking believe. What is Catherine? I'll be like, Catherine, if it's really you, meet me somewhere public. I'm not meeting you in no dark parking garage. What do you mean? If Billy said meet me here, would you go meet her in the dark parking garage? R.I.P. And then I said,
I'm bringing you with me. That's all.
You bringing who?
You.
No, the fuck you not. You on your own. All I know. Wait, you got life insurance, right?
Nope.
Yes, you do. All right, you could go have fun. And then I said, yeah, Eddie's crazy for going with him. We don't do stuff like that. I don't know, Eddie.
You gotta live life on the end.
Might gotta snatch that card from your brother.
Girl, yours has been snatched.
What? Why is mine snatched? What did I do?
You're like watermelon.
So what? It's not just black people that like watermelon and chicken. Whatever. I still have my card. I just don't like watermelon and chicken. That's fine. Man, suck my dick. Then I said, goddamn Ralph, because that's who they went to meet. Ralph, yeah.
Ralph. Oh, the brother?
He played, Agatha made him play Wanda's brother. She recast him. Which is crazy. Well, Agatha is so, I love her. Anyway.
Wait, what?
Remember, Agatha was the one who made him go pretend to be her brother so that she could get more intel.
So you just like some random stranger?
Yeah. Oh. It was Ralph, the one who she took his house over and everything like that.
Was that explained?
Yes.
In WandaVision?
Yes.
Girl, I want to watch that once.
Anyway.
That's the problem. Maybe I need to like rewatch things.
Girl.
To really get a grasp on
stuff. And
who
told you?
But will I do that?
Who? No.
Exactly.
Because who told you to? Exactly. She don't listen to me, but she expect me to tell her everything. But she don't listen to what I tell her. You see how I'm at a loss every time, people? It's not me. I'm not crazy. It's her. So we're being derailed because of her, not because of me. I rewatch. I have my stuff written down. Anyway, I said Eddie's first thought was to pull up his shirt. I'm dead. When Ralph was like, "Are you wearing a wire?" and he was checking Billy, and Eddie was like, "No wire." See, I was like, "You just wanted to show off your abs. Shut up."
Listen, if you got it,
listen, gay. And then he was talking about how. Ralph was talking about how Wanda's spell made it seem like you didn't have any control of your body or your mind. You were just watching TV while her spell was making you do so. I was like, sounds like a vacation to me. I could turn off my brain, let my body do whatever. Sounds like a vacation to me. As long as it is my choice. I get his point. But right now, I just think Ralph is being a little bitch. Oh. So everything he say is going to sound a little bitchy to me. Even if I agree, no, I don't. And then I said, he's so damn dramatic. And he is.
Mm-hmm.
No, Ralph is dramatic. And then because again, Billy can hear people's thoughts, but he's like, don't ask about Agatha Harkness. Don't ask about Agatha Harkness. I was like, ask about Agatha Harkness. And Billy was like, well, what do you know about Agatha Harkness? He's like, come on, man.
See, that's what I would do that.
I thought that was so funny. He was like, she's an angel freaking witch who will F your shit up. I was like, so they let him say shit, but not fuck.
How that work?
Disney said not too many curse words in one sentence. And I was like, that's a hilarious fucking line to me. Oh, I need to put that on a shirt. She's an angel freaking witch who will F your shit up. And then I said, oh, when Ralph was like, it's gonna cost more to talk about that. And Billy was like, no problem. I was like, oh, he got all the money in the world. He got all his bar mitzvah money. Listen, can you buy me a sandwich? The public sandwiches is expensive. Yeah, they are. Have you tried the soft bread? Try the soft bread. It's like King's Hawaiian roll, but a little harder, but it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
From Publix?
Yeah.
You get it as a sandwich?
Yeah.
Ain't that kind of Italian?
Huh?
Because you said it's like King's Hawaiian. King's Hawaiian's Italian.
No, it's a loaf. It's like the taste of King's Hawaiian, but it's a little softer than the white bread.
Okay, so next time you go, give me a sandwich.
Why is it every time you can get it?
Just like how you want me to get your stuff from Walmart?
Yeah.
You can get it.
No.
So it's just like that.
Listen, don't.
It's like
we'll talk about... I'm sorry, y'all. Anyway.
That was the perfect thing you could have said to me.
You get on my nerves so bad. Anyway. He was like, talking about how Ralph was talking about how Agatha hijacked his life and ruined his life. I was like, oh, Agatha hijacked my life. Wow. Grow up.
Oh.
It was he ain't being a little bitch.
Oh.
God. Who cares? It's Agatha. I would be like, yes, ma'am, whatever you like. He's like, she took over my life. She made me keep a lady in the basement or the attic. Who asked that? Nobody. I was like, you telling me a lot of stuff that don't got nothing to do with what I asked you about.
I mean, he said he asked to Agnes.
Whatever.
Agatha.
And then he was like, oh, she called me her husband and she took over my house. I was like, she called you her husband and you're complaining? Idiot. This man don't deserve rights. And then he was talking about how her taking over his house ruined the market value. I was like, nobody wants to live in fucking Westview after what happened in WandaVision. If anything, she helped you. She took the house off your hands, so you don't got to worry about it. You're welcome. My God.
But you don't know.
He ungrateful.
Like, yeah, she might have taken over the house and stuff, but he could still be making the payments on the house.
So make the payments and shut up. You a man, ain't you? I'm just playing. I'm just playing. No, but I'm tired of his complaining. Okay. Whatever. And then, then this back and forth I thought was hilarious. Ralph was like, I poisoned the dog. And Eddie goes, woof. And Ralph was like, hey! I was like, why did he do that? But I thought it was hilarious. The way their faces look. He's like, woof. He's like, hey!
Listen.
Oh, that was so fucking funny. Oh, and then, what did I said? Well, that verifies. I don't know what that was in regards to. Oh, him saying that he'll take payment in either cash or he'll give him half off to his one-man show.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something being gay.
I mean, exactly. Yes, the whole thing is gay. Yoshi agrees. And then I was like, go to Agatha. Go to her. Oh, and I was like, don't nobody want to see your show, Ralph. And then... No, it's not. He's a whiny Mitch. Mm-hmm. That means man, bitch.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then so Billy goes back home. His parents are watching TV and he comes in and they're like, hey, where's Eddie? I was like, I love that his parents accept him and they accept and like his boyfriend. I love that.
Because he was Asia.
Exactly. I love that the show, the people is just gay and that's just it. Like, it's not, and she's gay. I pointed out, but I like how they just let it rock. I love that.
What are you talking about?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
Like, them being gay is not a huge part of everything.
Oh, gotcha.
And they don't have to be like, oh, coming out and all that. I already explained how I feel about coming out stories in my book smart episode, because I feel like it's the way shows use queer characters just to be like, we have one. And then instead of showing queer people as people, all they are is their coming out story. That's all that they use it for. And I hate that. So I love that this show doesn't do that. It's like, oh, they're straight people? Couldn't be us. And then I was like, he's in his room reading up on everything, and he has music playing. And I was like, and then this is where Lorna's version of the ballad comes in, because that's what was playing while he was researching. And I was like, okay, everything is coming together. Everything is fitting nicely. And then he looked up Agatha Harkness, and they showed that picture of her in the hat, like the black and white photo. I was like, Agatha has always been fine. I see why all the witches is like, yeah, girl, let's go.
I'll go with you.
Let's go find the road, honey. And then I was like, of course she's Jolene, because one of the articles was like, it's Agatha Jolene. I was like, of course she's Jolene, look at her. And then this was when he figured out all the information about Agatha. He was going to go to her. He left at night. I was like, he just get to leave all willy-nilly? He's 16 years old. He just get to take the car and...
He's an adult.
Man.
Quotation marks, not an adult.
Fuck that. You know what would happen if we, at 16, were like, okay, mom and dad, we're going out. We'll see you later.
I don't leave the house, but I wouldn't.
I know, but I'm saying if we tried at 16 with their car, they'd be like, where the fuck you think you going? And then I was just like, he's just going to break into an ancient witch's house. No self-preservation skills. Like I said. Yes, that boy do not care. He was like, if I die, I die. And then when he was texting Eddie in the car, I was like, I'm ignoring that black heart shit. That black heart stands for Rio, not Billy. Fuck the noise. I don't care what they talking about. Because how he texted Eddie a black heart, and then they said in the panel, oh, black heart is William or is Billy. And I was like, bullshit. Black heart is Rio.
Why?
Why what?
It's black heart Rio.
Because remember when Agatha was like, you don't have a heart? She's like, yes, I do. It's black and it beats for you.
Gotcha. Black heart. Smart.
Okay. Exactly. And then I said, this is when he was looking in the window and they show her sitting in her Ralph Boner shirt. I was like, there's my baby in her Boner picture tent shirt.
When it was her and...
Like, you didn't get to see who she was talking to. This was when she had on the black shirt. This was his view of what's happening that was completely different from Agatha's view.
Because she was still under the
yes.
Okay.
But you get to see, like, what actually happened.
Gotcha.
I love this version of Agatha setting her delusion perfect. I love it. And then I was like, that mask he has on ain't hiding shit. Because it was netted so you could see. Anyway.
Listen,
and then
first time doing this type of thing, he'll make mistakes. You just have to learn. That's all.
The boy got no self-preservation skills. And then I said, Agatha struggling to run after him is taking me out. This is after he made the noise in her house and she was like, hey, and then she decided to chase him. And so when we watched it, she was going, but in this one she was struggling. And then she stopped. She's like, oh, cramp. I was like, Agatha. And then so after she got him into the house, she was using the garden hose nozzle as a gun. Like, that's what was tucked into her pants. Right. And then she was man-spreading. I was like, I fucking love this show. And then I was like, I love the difference in how we saw things in episode 1 and how they actually were.
I do like that they did that.
Exactly. And then, so when he was talking to her, I was like, she ain't listening to a word you said. And then her just getting up and kicking him. I thought that was funny.
So funny.
And asking him if he wants to keep poking the bear. It takes me out every time. I was like, he's trying so hard not to break.
I wonder how many takes he had to do.
I don't know, but I would be cracking the fuck up because I think that was ad-libbed. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was ad-libbed. She's like, you want to keep poking the bear? I'll be like, yeah, I want to poke the bear. Poke. And then, yeah, I was like, I would crack the fuck up dead ass. Like, I would be laughing so fucking hard. Because it's not even just the way not even just what she's saying. The way she's saying and her facial expression. Yeah. She's like, no, you do not. No, you don't. I was like, okay, girl. Oh my God. And then his accent was coming out a bit when he was like, see, I did not see that for you. When he was saying how she saw herself as a detective. He was like, I did not see that for you. But I totally get it. I was like, his accent is coming out.
Oh, is his accent British?
I think he's Irish.
Wow.
Or maybe British. I don't know. One of those.
Okay.
No offense. I'm just playing. No offense. Not one of those. But he's not American. And then the funny part was the pin clicking. When she kept opening and closing the pin. He was like, that'll work. That won't work. That'll work. And then the face she was making. Because she was going to write down in the pad. And she's like, she kept clicking the pin. I thought that was fucking funny. And then when she's like, asleep in bed, total loser, or totally lying, let's find out. I was like, Catherine, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And then again, I said, I love this show. And then so after that, when she taped his arms up and was taking him into, what she said was the holding cell.
Mm-hmm. Go back to the closet?
Exactly. He was like, come on, I do not want to go back in the closet. I was like, fucking A+ line. A+ line.
Back in the closet.
Exactly. He was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then, so when they were showing us everything, because after they showed that, then they were showing the different like when he was talking to her, when she was like, take me to the road and everything like that. Mm-hmm. I was like, they really had to know the way this show was gonna go.
Yeah.
With how they filmed the scenes, and it's so incredible to think about. Like, big brains over there. Jack is the GOAT, because that was crazy. And then I was like, there's my baby. So this was after they showed all that, when Agatha's coming up out the mud. Remember he threw her into the mud? So she's coming up out the mud. I was like, there's my baby. Yeah. And I was like, no, the jacket. That jacket.
It's machine washable.
But she just left it there. Oh, man. I would have tied it around me so I could bring it anyway. And then I was like, her using the leaves to clean her face was hilarious. Because she
had no tissue.
Listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. She did that, then she took off the jacket and used her sleeves. I was like, yes. And then, so they showed him crunching up the sigil in his hand. I was like, guess you don't need that anymore.
Right?
And then you saw her behind him. And I was like, she's so hot. She was like, ooh, what a show. I was like, she didn't say that, but that's what it was given.
That's her stance.
Exactly. And then I was like, oh, so remember in last episode when you asked when did she know it wasn't him?
Yeah.
So I just remembered in this episode, he goes, so when did you find out? And she was like, I had a feeling from the beginning. And then she was like, you and your mother have the same tell. And I was like, oh yeah, that's how she knew, because they had the same tail. And he was like, which is? And she was like, unfortunate for you. And I was like, what's the tail? I want to know. But that's how she knew from the beginning that he was Wanda's son, because they had the same tail.
For those that don't know, the last podcast after she ended it, I asked her how.
No, you asked her in the podcast.
No, because I said, because I did the thing with like, oh, I'll tell you after.
No, that was about him looking like Aisha.
Was it?
Yes. Aisha? Yeah, in the podcast you said, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Because you was like, how did she know that it was Billy and not her son? And I was like, oh, I think it was just because she knew from the beginning. And then, yeah, in this episode she goes, you and your mother have the same tail. So that's how she knew. Just wanted to bring that back. What about Nutella?
Ooh, that sounds good.
Ew, what did you say?
Did we find out what the tail was?
Oh, no. Yeah. That's what I was like, I wish you would have.
Oh, maybe we'll find that out. No.
Probably no. And then I was like, so when she was telling him that, I was like, she had a feeling when they first met. And remember, she can sniff out power. Mm-hmm. So when he was like, power is what I'm looking for. And so she was mocking. She's like, power is what I need. She was like, hardly. I was like, remember, she can sniff out power. That's how she gets hers. So she's like, so remember in the beginning when he goes, wow, this is amazing. And she goes, yeah, no. Fuck, what did he say? When she was like, you did good. Mm-hmm. When they first looked at the trial, and she looked at him, she was like, you did good. And you were like, what does that mean? But now you know it's because she knew that he created all this shit. So when she was talking to Jen, and when they was looking at the beach house, and Jen was like, this is amazing. She was like, yeah, right off your vision board.
So Jen's vision board?
Yeah. Because he researched her as well. Remember, Agatha and Jen knew each other. Huh?
You put thought into this.
They put thought into this. That's what I'm saying. I was like, the way they did it is you're discovering stuff when they want you to discover. Of course, some people guessed it before.
Yeah.
But as an everyday viewer who has no background knowledge about the show, you're discovering stuff at the same point that they're showing it. Mm-hmm. So when you go back and rewatch, you was like, that was a fucking hint. That was a clue. Yeah. And they did it so well.
That definitely happened when we first watched it.
Exactly. And again, when we first watched it together, that was my first time seeing Agatha All Along. Like, we watched it all together when it first came out.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what was happening either. They did really great with the show. I needed a season 2. And then, I was like, yeah, him and his mother had the same tail. And I was like, Agatha looking at him, telling him, like, she was like, it's nice to see you again, Billy. And I was like, she looks proud of him. Mm. Like, she's like, how did you did all of this? Like, amazing. And then when she was like, Lily and Jen, yeah, she was like, but life goes on. Yours anyway. I was like, she's such a bitch. I love her. And then when she was trying to be like, I've killed, or she was like, I've killed, and trying to count on one hand, she's like, my share. I was like, there's no way for her to even know how many people she's killed, because she's been alive for so fucking long, and she's killed so many people.
Maybe that's what now.
Of course. And I was like, so you're sitting there trying to count on 2 hands, baby girl, you gonna need infinite more.
Everything.
Exactly. And then when she was like, where did you come by this fresh body you're wearing? I was like, when we first watched, I was like, why was she so intense about that? And then I realized after watching the series, I was like, because she knows Rio would not let that fly, especially for a Maximoff child. Rio has a special type of hatred for them because of how Agatha was flirting with Wanda in WandaVision. Mm-hmm. So Rio has a special type of hatred for the Maximoffs. So that also explains why in the Alice's trial,
why she was acting like that.
Yes. Oh! Remember, I brought it up. I was like, why was she looking at him like that?
Yes.
I love when it all just comes together. I'm like, that's why she was staring at him like that. She was like,
connection.
She was like, you and your damn mammy. Also, you were not supposed to be here.
Love it.
And then when Agatha was like, don't you dare feel guilty about your talent. You survived like witches have been doing for centuries. I think, and I did see this online too, she was telling him what she wished folks told her. Because remember, when she was quote unquote dealing with magic above her level, her mother's first instinct was to kill her.
Yeah.
She was like, don't be ashamed of that. Like, you did good. You did what you're supposed to do to survive. And I think she was just telling him what she wishes people told her. And then, so after all of that, him being snippy, she was still willing to help him out too. And he was like, I don't even think I need you. I was like, watch your mouth, boy.
Whoa.
And then I was like, got too big for your britches, little boy, when he was like, I don't think I need you. And then he tried to, and she was like,
embarrassing.
I was like, ooh, was it emotional damage?
Yes.
And then I was like, her laugh when her laugh, and then also the way she was like, what does Billy Maximoff want at the end of the road? I was like, it also makes me think of the Boyz II Men song. Don't say it, because I don't want Spotify to be like,
you're right.
Copyrighting?
I mean,
but you know the song.
Well, yeah. I feel like it would all be copyright if it's the actual song. I think
no, even because some people, again, I learned this from Reddit. Some people's audios have been cut for singing, even if no matter how badly you're singing the song, have been cut from the song. If they can detect it, they cutting that shit out, and especially on YouTube, they do not play. So, but if y'all need to listen to the Boyz II Men song, listen to the Boyz II Men song. I love that song. I don't think it's called The End of the Road. Is it called The End of the Road? Mm-hmm. Yes, End of the Road. Love it. They used that song in no, they didn't. That's not the song they used in Megan.
I don't think so.
It's How Do I Say Goodbye to Yesterday. That's the song they used in Megan. Mm-hmm. It's another Boyz II Men song. Listen to all Boyz II Men songs. They're amazing. And then I was like, her taunting him. Personally, I love it. When she was like, what do you want at the end of the road? Oh, to find mama? No. She chose City over Home, Flesh and Wires. And she was like, Robo Papa? She's like, we didn't know where he is or in how many pieces. And then she's like, oh, that's right. There's two of you. You're after Toby.
Toby.
And I was like, loud and wrong. She's really bad with names. And then I was like, me.
I mean, she got the T and the Y, the T-O-Y, right? So technically,
yeah,
it's close.
Listen, as close as you gonna get.
Exactly.
At least she's not calling him. Well, she is calling him a completely different name from Mrs. Hart. I mean, Sharon, not Mrs. Hart. Her name is Sharon. And then she was like, I was like, all of this to find your brother. So you don't care about your mammy? You don't care about your father? You're like, no, I want to find my brother.
Because they had a close bond.
Maybe. But then I was like, so when she was like, so if we're going to make it to the end, and he was like, I just want you to know I do not trust you. And then she put her hair in front of her face to mock his sigil. Mm-hmm. She's like, "Hoo." I was like, what is wrong with you? I thought that was funny. I said her putting her hair up to her face and snickering, mocking his sigil after his heartfelt declaration is hilarious to me. She was like, man, I don't care what you're talking about. Remember when you was like, ooh. And then, I put a side note, because I don't know if you read fan fiction. I know you have. Sometimes, and this is not just for this fandom or Agatha and Rio fandom. Mm-hmm. Any fan fiction I read, whether it's Britannia, any of that. I hate when people use sniggering instead of snickering. It just feels racially motivated to me. I don't like it. You don't need snicker. SNICKER.
I want a Snickers.
ING for snickering, not sniggering. I don't like that. Every time I read that, I'm like, You see it too. I'm like, it just feels racially motivated. Maybe to me, maybe I'm overreacting. I'll be that though. But you snickering, please.
Ooh, a Milky Way.
Ew. And then I said, when Agatha was like, last one there's a nice person, the hair flip in her strut. I was like, she's so hot. She's so hot. She's like, this shit is fake. I just want to know what happens.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about none of this. Let's go. I was about to call. I'm trying. That's the one word I'm trying not to say.
I don't say it.
I do all the time. I'm trying not to. It'll probably slip out. And then when he was like, I'm not that nice, I was like, what the fuck that supposed to mean? What you mean by that?
That's right.
Like, it sounded a little threaty.
It did.
I'm not that nice. See? Anyway. So, that was the end of episode 6. What did you think of it? Do you have a rating for it? I know you said you only have ratings for the last episodes. But do you have a rating for this? What was your thought? And everything like that. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
Okay. So. Right.
What is wrong with you?
Okay, wait. Hold on. It's in my brain, but it's like all mashed up right now. So let me, hold on. Let me put them in correct order. Okay. So. Wait. So, guys, cover your ears for a second. I got a question. Okay, so do they know that Billy created the whole thing?
I said it multiple times in the episode. I said it multiple times in the episode. Okay. So if they didn't know now, they know now. Okay. Again, we're looking at it assuming that people have watched the series. If you haven't, spoilers, sorry. But if you also made it this far into the podcast, that's on you, kind of, sort of. Still love you. You're still cool. But I'm just saying, you about 50 minutes in, so
they can't hear you because I told them to cover their ears.
They was listening. When people tell you to cover your ears, do you actually stop listening? Yeah. No. Lies. Finish what you were saying.
Right, guys, you can uncover your ears now. Okay, so darn, I lost it.
Oh my god. Okay.
No, stop. Okay, so they know that Billy created it.
Yeah.
So then with Lilia, it's literally in my brain, but it's just
say it, and I'll try to make sense of it. With Lilia,
so she knew that he created the whole thing too. Then
yes, because remember, she sees her life out of sequence, so she knew everything that was going to happen. She even said that in the next episode. She said, "I saw what was going to happen. I know you needed time." Spoiler for episode 7, which we're literally about to talk about. So
then how come she went along with it?
Because she knew what was going to... It's destiny. It's going to happen regardless. And she didn't remember that she put the sigil. Because again, remember, the sigil works on the witch and the person they're casting it for, which they forget. Oh. So when she saw him again, she was like, Like, she didn't think anything of it because she didn't remember that she met him.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
That's all your thoughts?
Yeah.
Do you have any ratings for it? Do you have a favorite part? Did you just think the whole episode was phenomenal?
Just seeing Eddie.
Just seeing Eddie was your favorite part? Okay. I enjoyed the full episode. I love when things come together. And they came together perfectly. My rating for this episode, I give it a 8.5. I thought that the episode was really good.
Because it was about Billy?
Huh?
Is that why it's 8.5?
No, I enjoyed his aspect.
Oh, yeah.
More than I thought I would.
Exactly. It's like, I thought she didn't like them.
Yeah, no. It's not that I don't like him. I just don't like how disrespectful he is to Agatha. And I don't want him to have a full series about himself. when he had a lot of stuff in Agatha. And we didn't get much of Agatha and Agatha's show because they didn't think, quote unquote, that people would be interested in it, which I think is bullshit. But anyway, yeah, no, I give it an 8.5. I thought it was a really good episode. Again, I like how everything was falling into place.
Yes.
It felt very satisfying. And yes, I like how we saw how he met all his future coven members as well. So did you have a rating for the episode?
No.
You don't have a rating? You rated all the other episodes?
No.
Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have a ranking, but you rated them.
Did I?
Yes.
I don't think I did.
So you don't have a rating for this episode. It's unrated for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did the other episode?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Oh my God. You need to. Yes. You need to go back and listen. So we're on to episode 7, which is Lilia's trial.
With the sword coming down, right?
Yes. This is my.
Oh, where there was Malekatut.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
This is one of my favorite episodes of the series. I think this episode was so well done. Oh my God. And again, it shows just how well thought out everything was. Because for Lilia's everything playing backwards to her, and I'll talk more about it at the end, but everything playing out of order to her was also how they showed it to us. Amazing. So the episode opens with Lilia falling, and she has this really like scared look on her face. And I'm like, no, Lilia. But she's falling. And then after that, they go to Agatha and the boy and Teen. I call him the boy. Agatha and Teen walking on the road. And then she was like, you'll get a migraine or a headache trying to read my mind that hard. And she was like, you could just ask me questions. Like, you just ask them, like, out loud.
I know that's the stupidest question.
What? You already said it. What is it?
I was like, wait. So when did Jen die? She didn't.
At all. At all. Her and Lilia got pushed into the mud, too. Jesus.
Oh. That's
so, which is not a unfathomable question, because you know how they do us and stuff. So, but I was like, when he was like, where's Rio? And she's like, not that question. I was like, don't ask about Rio. Don't ask about her son. Have you learned nothing?
He wants to poke the bear.
No. Say it with me. Say it with me. Self-preservation. Oh. What the fuck did you say?
No swiping.
No swiping.
From Northern Explorer.
And then, so when they was walking, and Agatha goes, I'm your mom's ex best friend. I was like, this is why Rio does not like these folks. Why did she say it like that? I was like, see, Agatha, that's part of the reason Rio can't stand the boy now. Stop doing that. I'm your mom's ex best friend. I'm like, what do you mean by that?
What was the delay between those two words?
Like, they was hunching. And then I said, don't disrespect Wanda like that boy. When he was like, she's not my mom. I have a mom. I was like, you little bastard. Don't. When she was like, I'm your mom's ex-best friend, he was like, she's not my mom. I have a mom. Because remember, he's William Kaplan.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. And then when he was asking her questions, he was like, is Wanda dead? Is Wanda Maximoff dead? And she was like, I don't know. Or yes, no, I don't know. And then he was like, did you see a body? And she's like, yes. I was like, technically, she did see a body. Because remember, in the morgue.
So that body was Wanda's?
Yes.
Oh.
But
wait.
Remember, she was in a delusional spell. So when he was like, did anybody else see it? She was like, hard to say. because she don't, you know. So she did see a body, but she's also like, but I don't know if that was real or not.
Gotcha. Okay, see, I'm getting it.
And then my favorite line of the series when she was like, "Hey, you want straight answers? Ask a straight lady." I was like, "Oh, I love it! I love it so much." This is my favorite line of the series. And then I was like, her gay ass said, "I don't want nothing straight." I was like, she just like me. When she said, "I don't do nothing straight," I was like, just like me. When she said, "Hey, you want straight answers? Ask a straight lady."
Yeah.
And then, so they show us a shot of the castle. And I go, not for nothing, this castle is what I want my house to look like.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's so, I think it's called like Gothic.
I can see that.
I love that. And that's what I want. And I also want a moat with an alligator in it.
Yeah, it's a moat.
A moat is like, it's kind of like a ditch around the house that it's a waterway. So if people want to come through, you have to like let down a bridge for them to drive through and all that. That's what I want. I want a moat and I want an alligator in it. So anybody that's trying to come to my house that I don't want in my house, alligator gets fed that day.
Oh, just go get an alligator from outside.
Right?
That's the point.
Listen, but I got to get a moat first. And alligators grow to their environment. So I give me a little baby one, have a big moat, and it'll be a big boy.
That means you gotta take care of it.
I know. That's my plan.
Okay.
And then when Agatha goes, the road is a fickle mistress. I was like, gay ass. And then he was like, when she was like, okay, so in my experience, he was like, I don't think you've ever been on the road. I was like, don't be disrespectful. Whoa. And then, see, this is where he got on my nerve. I was like, smack him, please. He's being hella disrespectful. First of all, you brought me here. You did this. You included me. Don't be rude to me.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I can see that.
And I was like, I wouldn't help him with shit else. I'd be like, you know what? You got it.
Figure it out.
And she was like, we survived. I'm here. Rude. He's a rude motherfucker. That's the problem. Anyway. And then when they showed them after they entered the castle, I was like, you and Mom's favorite, Maleficent and Elphaba? But I think she's the Wicked Witch. But Elphaba is what I didn't. Have you watched The Wizard of Oz? I haven't.
I've seen both versions.
No, I've seen The Wiz.
I like that one better.
Yeah, that's
no
the one. That's the one. What do you mean, no offense?
Because that's the black version.
So,
and I like that one.
If they offended by that, we're black. If they're offended by that, that's something about them. That don't got nothing to do with us. But I like The Wiz, and I like Wicked. That's the only. Other than that, the only thing I know about The Wizard of Oz is from Glee. So that's all. Oh, and Toto, because goddamn Galleria named exactly. So my bad. Call me uncultured or whatever.
I
never see that. And then I said I love the way Agatha is sitting in the chair, with her hand behind her back.
Always.
when he's like, I'll read for you. I love the way that she's sitting. She's like, go ahead.
The floor is yours.
And then I was like, speaking of tarot, I cannot wait to get my deck because I did order the Agatha tarot deck. I'm very excited. It's purple. I had to get it. It's purple.
Where's the blue?
You never told me what you thought of the art book, the Agatha All Along art book.
It's cool. I liked it.
I thought it was incredible. I love seeing the background stuff. Yoshi is agreeing. And then I said, I know you fucking lying. When they showed them swords in the ceiling, I was like, I would leave because never mind. And then I was like, I had to stop when she kept putting the cards down and the swords kept falling. I was like, stop, girl. And then I was like, they don't take the 30-minute aspect of these trials seriously at all. It's like, you got 30 minutes to figure this out, and y'all just take y'all sweet-ass time.
They like that adrenaline rush they get.
Listen.
When the time gets close to ending.
My ass would be like, can we please stay on track? 30 minutes and we all dying. And then I was like, I wish Lily was here too. Y'all were raising my blood pressure when she kept throwing down the cards. The swords kept falling. They kept arguing. I was like, ugh. And then, so we go to the next scene where it shows Lily and Jen. And I was like, yes, Jen is still alive. And then I said in quotes, I was like, or in parentheses, I was like, you know how these shows and movies do us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy she's still alive. And then I was like, where Jen and Lilia were walking, it still looked cool.
Yeah.
Even though it's supposed to be disgusting and dirty, it still looked cool. I don't know. And then...
Did you go in it?
No.
Oh.
I'm not doing none of this shit. And then they showed Alice protecting Agatha. They showed us. That's what I said. I was like, Alice with the crying faces. And then I was like, the easy road. Because when they were walking, Jen saw an exit. And she was like, wait, is that the way off the road? And I was like, yep, the easy road. And then I love how Jen is starting to care about others. And she was like, I won't take it. Like, And then when Lilia was like, the flow of time is an illusion. People don't understand. I was like, the flow of time is definitely an illusion. Like, what? Yeah, it's definitely an illusion. I fully believe that as well. And then I was like, when Lilia was explaining how she sees her life out of sequence. I was like, it's got to be terrifying seeing your life out of sequence, especially because it's getting worse.
Yeah.
So, and you're like, what does this mean? But it also has to be like, okay, knowing that you don't die because your life is out of sequence, so you just live in a loop, kind of. So she sees her life out of sequence. So just because you're dying now doesn't mean you die permanently, which they show at the end when she's the little girl and she runs back and she's learning her lessons.
Yeah.
So she lives her... Why are you shocked? We just talked about this.
Oh.
Yeah. So she lives her life out of sequence. So it has to be somewhat like cathartic, maybe, knowing that just because this is the end now doesn't mean this is the end forever.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So poetic.
That's how I guess that is kind of how I look at life, because it's like, just because it's the end now, you just go into your next phase of, like, your next body.
Like Billy did.
Yes, but yeah, pretty much, yeah. So,
What do you mean?
I don't know. We'll see. And then I said, I was like, because the next scene was, because when Jen was like, well, what does it mean that things are being worse? Does it mean like you're getting your powers back?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't think I want it back. And then the next scene you see is Agatha on top of her and, trying to help her from not get hit by the sword or whatever. And I was like, I need Agatha to sit on me like that to save me. But she did not have to sit on Lilia like that.
She did.
But yes. Protect her. And then I was like, I like the way Agatha was like, Lilia, well, I'm trying to help you. And Lilia was like, yeah. I was like, that takes me out. And then when she was getting at Tina, I was like, yeah, get him again for me. And then when she said, we are not cool, teenager, and Jen was like, damn, using his full name?
I saw that. I remember that.
Jen is fucking hilarious. I feel like her commentary is exactly what I would be saying in my head. And then when Jen like grabbed Lilia, she's like, hey Lilia, I know, but we're fine with the teen now. We're not mad at him. Or when Lilia was like, or when Lily was like, wait, are you not mad? And Jen was like, always, but collectively we moved on. I was like, me? I was like, that's another great line. Because she's like, are you not mad? She's like, always, but it's like, you get it, girl. And then Agatha was like, yeah, at your prompting, Dory. And I was like, not Agatha calling Lily a Dory. Because, Dory's whole thing is forgetting everything every few seconds.
Yes.
I was like, I love that.
The audacity.
I love it, though. I thought that was funny. And then when Jen was like, back off, Agatha, she's having a day. I was like, I need that on a shirt, too.
What, she's having a day?
No, back off, Agatha, she's having a day.
Oh, okay.
I need that on a shirt, too. And then when Lily was like, what are you wearing? What am I wearing? And Jen was like, we can be culturally offended later. And I was like, yeah, I'm culturally offended too. I know why they have Jen dressed like that.
I know.
But because her thing is vanity. Remember, her thing is about looking beautiful all the time.
Oh, so they made her ugly.
Exactly. And so when she was like, let's talk about this later, I was like, growth. Because Jen from episode 1 would have been like, what is this? What the fuck? What's happening? But Jen was like, let's just figure this out. I was like, growth. So, like, I get it, but I hate that they made her look like that. And then I was like, y'all better get to work. Y'all got 30 minutes. And y'all sit here going back and forth.
30 minutes?
Listen. And then I was like, God, this show is amazing with the flashbacks that I guess were actually flash forwards. So when they show how everything Lilia was saying, she was saying for a reason. Mm-hmm. When she was like, am I wispy or am I kooky? Everything like that. I was like, this show is really well. Yeah. This episode is really well thought out and fantastically executed. And then I was like, I get when Lilia was like, when she went to see her, I forgot what it's called, Maestra, the older lady, mm-hmm. And she was like, why don't you have a coven and everything like that? And she's like, because it's easier to not have people close to me, so I don't have to worry about losing them. Well, she didn't say that, but that's what she was getting at, because she was like, I saw everything. I saw how y'all died. I said something and it changed nothing. Mm-hmm. I was like, I like how it shows she's scared to get close to people. Yeah. Because she knows what's going to happen.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. And that's why she liked to stay to herself. Because rather than care about people and lose them and know how you're going to lose them and when you're going to lose them and know that you can't do anything to change that, mm-hmm. I thought that was fantastic. And then I was like, when they were back in the tunnels and Lilia was explaining to Jen everything and how she sees her life in different sequences and all that. And mm-hmm. Lilia was like, I know what the next trial is going to be. And Jen was like, it's tarot. And she was like, how do you know that? She was like, oh, because I told you. When Jen ripped her dress, mm-hmm. I was like, I like how... For me, Jen ripping her dress was a symbol probably of shedding dead weight and like unneeded material, whereas she was very materialistic and vain in the beginning, and I thought that was cool. And then, when Jen was like, how did you stop your life from you experiencing your life out of sequence? Yeah. And Lily was like, I ignored it. And I was like, yeah, ignoring things does not make them go away. But I get her reasoning. I wouldn't want to only see death either. And then I put, and yet, because if you're on social media. Mm-hmm. But I said specifically for like the ignoring things doesn't make them go away. I mean it like, the way I can relate it to me is as a person who has anxiety and panic attacks. Mm-hmm. My first instinct was to try to ignore what's happening to my body. But the more you ignore it, the worse it gets. So you have to just be like, okay, I'm not dying. My body is just having a moment. Mm-hmm. Let it happen. So I get what the want to ignore it, but it doesn't really help anything. And then I was like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Interstellar. Mm-hmm. So when they were trying to find the bookshelf, because that's where Agatha and Teen were, mm-hmm. they showed the bookshelf. I was like, it reminds me of Interstellar. There's a scene in Interstellar where he's seeing different parts of his life while he's looking through the bookshelf.
Is that with Mark Wahlberg?
No. What's his name? No. Chris Pratt. All right.
Kevin Hart.
No, the one who's like, all right. What's his name?
Kevin Hart.
It's not Kevin Hart. Matthew McConaughey. Jeez. Kevin Hart. Girl, shut up. And then they went back to Agatha and Teen was like, I wish Lily was here. And then that's when they fell through the door or through the bookshelf. I was like, ask and you shall receive. And then when Lily was like, who massacred this spread? Ooh. And then both Teen and Agatha was like, she did it, he did it. I was like, they both messed up the table.
Pointing fingers.
And then when Lilia was like, who's the querent? And Billy was like, me, I'm the querent. And Agatha had that uncontrollable laughter. I was like, they're so stupid. I thought that was funny. And then when Lily was telling Teen to ask the tarot cards a question, and Agatha was like, ask him how we get out of here. And then she was like, it has to be productive to his life outside of here. I was like, I think that's a pretty productive question. I don't know, how the hell do we get out of here?
So he can continue to live his life.
Right? I think that's pretty reasonable. And then when he asked his question, am I William or am I Billy? I was like, didn't you say you was both of them? He said he was both of them.
He don't know. He's confused.
He's confused. And then I said I've pulled a few of these cards before. So the cards that Lilia or that Teen was pulling and Lilia was reading, I was like, I've pulled a few of these cards because I had my tarot read. It's like, I pulled a few of these cards. And then so they show why when he pulls a card and Lilia puts it down and the sword comes and almost gets her. But that's when Agatha pushes her. So they jump back to the second episode when they were all in the basement about to sing the song. And Lily was like, get off me. I was like, that's why she did it, because that's when Agatha jumped on her to push her out the way. I was like, this is so good.
The thought process that went into this is crazy.
I was like, this episode is so fucking well done. How did they do this so successfully? That's literally my question.
Whoa.
And then when she's talking to the maestro and she was telling her when the maestro was telling her death, like, it's the one thing we have in common. And Lily was like, you say it like it's a comfort. And I'm like, death is the one constant. That's the one thing that you know for sure it's going to happen to you. You know what I mean? So I get what the maestro was saying. And then I was like, that's got to be, this was after Lily was like, I was falling. I will fall. And the maestro was like, so what will you do with your remaining time? I was like, that's got to be terrifying, though, knowing you're going soon and you're not able to change it. But again, also, her dying doesn't mean her dying.
Yeah.
But she hasn't seen that yet. You feel me? So I was like, yeah, it's got to be terrifying. And then they jump back to when Lily and Jen were in the tunnel.
Yeah.
And Lily was explaining to her everything. And Jen was like, I have questions. I was like, me?
Like, now you have questions?
Yes. And then I was like, how Jen didn't leave. I was like, my baby is starting to care about others when she had the opportunity to leave, because she was like, is that the exit? And then they showed the creepy ass Seven walking past. Oh, folks, it's scary. And then the next, when Lily was like, I'm going to go to my trial. I would really like for you to come with me. And Jen was like, why? And then Lily was like, because you're my sister in the craft. I was like, that's beautiful. Also, remember, we'll get back to it, but just remember that part. Like, why do you want me to go with you? You're my sister in the craft. Okay? And then I said, so Lilia was reading the cards again, and I was like, I've pulled the Queen of Cups. This was when she realized that it's her that she's reading the cards for.
Yeah.
I was like, I've pulled the Queen of Cups before. And then I was like, I can't say it enough. This episode is so well done. And then so Lilia is pulling the cards and she's showing everything that happened. And you see another flashback of Alice trying to, get Agatha's mother out of her. Oh, that sounded weird. Agatha's mother's spirit out of her body, and they showed Alice. I was like, Alice. And then they said for the step forward, high priestess, that's when they showed Jen. And I was like, and that's why she was like, come with me. You're the path forward. You're the next person that's going to lead. When she's like, you're the path forward, you're the next person that's going to lead. So when Jen was like, why do you want me to come with you to your trial? And she was like, because you're the path forward. I'm not getting out of here, but you're the next leader, because she's the high priestess. I thought that was great. And then when they showed Agatha's card of her being over teen, and then they showed the Three of Swords, when it was like the tree branch, but it looked like the Three of Swords. I was like, oh, it's about like loss and everything like that. I was like, oh, I was like, poor baby. And then I was like, death is the perfect card, because in tarot, at least what I've been told, death is not a bad card. It's like a new beginning, which is in the end of the episode when Lilia is back to being the little girl. New beginning, you know what I mean? But I said that, I was like, Lilia didn't die, which I already believed, because she sees her life out of order. So, and then I was like, yes, this show was really well done. Got to give it up to them. They really thought it out.
Yeah.
And then so after Lilia was like death, they showed Jen and Lilia falling down into the tunnels. And I was like, I know they back hurt, because they hit that floor hard. And then I was like, here's Rio. Because when she was like, don't you remember me, Lilia? And they showed like how when they were in the cabin, and it's like, who's with us? And they showed death. And then Rio started laughing. And she was like, Rio is death.
Yeah.
And then, so before she put the card down, she was like, Rio is death? And Agatha was like, Lilia! And she grabbed the card and put it down, because the swords were coming down. And it was so close to them. I was like, I would have a panic attack. Even though I know that it's acting, I would be like, wait, hold on. But that's just my anxiety, and I don't like small spaces. So, and then, so after that, and then the swords retracted, and the door opened up to the Iron Maiden. It looked like a green R on the wall. That's what I saw. And then when she told, and then so they were like, Lily was like, yeah, Rio is death, the original Green Witch. And I was like, she told y'all that when Alice asked her. She was like, so you're a witch, you're a Green Witch, you're a witch, huh? And Rio was like, less a witch, more the witch. Remember when she did that like demonic voice? I was like, she told y'all that, y'all don't listen. And then them all turning to Agatha for confirmation. And she's like, what can I say? I like the bad boys. I was like, gay ass. It was like another great line. And then, so this was after that. Lilia, they're walking out, and, Lilia told Agatha, when she calls you a coward, hit the deck. And Agatha was like, huh? She was like, go. And then Teen was next, and she gave him his book that she found. And then Jen, this part, Jen was like, I'm not going before you to Lilia, because remember in her trial, or a lot of the trials, she was like, I'm going first. Remember when they were going down the stairs for the first time? She's like, I'm going. She was pushing people out of the way. And then in Alice's trial, she's like, I'm going. She's getting into the episode that Sharon died in. She's like, I'm going. And she got into the oven first. And then she turned little. She's like, I'm not going before you. And then I was like, Jen, you're gross. I could cry. I'm so proud of my baby. And then when Lily was like, no, you're the path forward, Jen. Go ahead. And then
that's so cute.
She was like, I love being a witch. That breaks me every time. But she's like, I love being the witch. And then she closed it so that they can go. And then she was left in there with the 7. And then she was like, I was like, I know that's right, Lilia. You take control. When she took the card and she was explaining how after you pass the trial, you shouldn't linger on the road.
Yeah.
And then she flipped it, and then everything flipped upside down. And then, I was like, oh, but before that, when she was explaining everything, I was like, all these animals coming in, rabies. I know it's the 7, rabies.
Oh my God.
I was like, the 7 is so creepy. And then, I was like, that looks so fucking cool when she flipped it and the castle turned upside down. And time reversed for Lilia because you saw the time in the bottle.
And that's why she's the little girl again?
After that, I was like, don't let go. And then she had to let go and she fell down. But you could see the difference in her face this time versus how scared her face looked in the beginning of the episode. And then, it was her, the little girl, going over to the maestro. I was like, start all over, Lilia. And I was like, this episode is perfection. They did their big one for real, for real. That's one of my favorite episodes of the series.
Yeah.
Perfectly executed. They did a big one with that one. And then, did you have any thoughts or anything to add to it?
I like how this one. I like how this one you can you can make the connections from previous episodes. Because I don't know, it was just satisfying my brain.
Yeah, it all fit together like a puzzle.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, another piece. Oh my God, another piece.
Yes.
They did so. I wish that I could talk to them just so I can give them their kudos for the series overall, but especially this episode. You know how in tuned in your writing you have to be. I can't even keep track when I do an outline for these episodes. They had to write full episodes of dialogue and backstory and everything that's happening in lore, and they did it so perfectly. I gotta give them kudos. I give this episode a perfect 10.
If I had to pick an episode, out of 1 through
9. Or
no, for this
that we've already listened to.
Yeah.
That we've already.
So if I had to pick one episode to watch over and over again, it would be
the 7 episode.
Yeah.
They did. I hope that this show is, especially the show overall, is nominated for awards, but specifically this episode, because they did really phenomenal with this episode. And then, I give it a perfect 10. I wouldn't change anything. There isn't anything that I wish to have seen more in this episode. They did perfectly with everything they had. They explained everything perfectly. I wasn't confused about anything, which I'm very grateful for.
It's just crazy how you had a low budget, but they was able to make this episode.
And that's, again, it's like, if they was able to make this greatness, the greatness of this series, on such a low budget, mind you, it's millions of dollars, so it's not low to us, but it's the lowest of any Disney project.
Yeah.
Imagine what they can do with a budget double of that and more episodes. But usually I don't want that, because when a season 1 is great, it goes downhill from that.
Exactly.
But for them, I believe in them. I trust their vision. I trust Jack's vision. I believe that she knows she can do it. The way that she was able to integrate things that happened in WandaVision and Agatha All Along, and it didn't feel... One, you could watch them separately and still enjoy it.
Yeah.
But also, if you watch WandaVision, you could enjoy it that much more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to do, and she did great. There is one thing that I want to call bullshit on. And I'm going to be that girl. And I'm going to say something controversial. I have my statement written out. I know Jack said for the series that we didn't get a lot of Agatha Rio because they didn't think we'd be interested in them, right? I'm going to call cap. First of all, this is what I have written down. I was like, first of all, lesbians and sapphics and other sapphics, all we do is talk about wanting more rep. That's all we talk about on everything. It's everywhere. Every comment, that's all we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And they are online. So bullshit to that. They knew. 2, the things that they put into the show about them doesn't feel like things they just stumbled on.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like stuff that's been researched, and you're looking at what people are saying and you're like, this will fit. It doesn't feel like they're just like, oh, we just did that cuz.
Yeah.
Whereas some shows, when they have sapphic and lesbian characters, it's, we're doing this because we want this audience to watch. Once they watch, we don't give a fuck. We'll go back to the shit that we was doing before. You feel me? This felt like it was made out of love for queer, especially queer women, but queer people in general. This doesn't feel like we did this because we want this viewership. This feels like, when shows have queer characters and they're like, oh, we have queer people in the writing room, we have queer people in the dressing rooms and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This actually felt like they had that and they listened to queer people's opinions and feelings and thoughts.
Yeah.
This is the difference between saying you want to represent the community and actually doing the work and listening to that community, right?
Yeah.
So it felt very intentional to me. And what I think is, Disney told them, we'll give you an inch. Don't you try to take a fucking mile. Because we'll take all this shit back. And they were like, okay, we'll do what we can with what we have. And they did amazingly. And then they can't throw Disney under the bus because that's their employer. So they're like, no, it was us. We didn't think people would be interested. It does not give that. You didn't think people would be interested. It gives some stuff got cut out. We had to do what we could with what we had.
Yeah.
Like even, and it was until like, excuse me, fans always believed that Rio was Agatha's, Nikki was Agatha and Rio's. Fans always thought that. And then they confirmed it in a panel. And we were like, yes, we knew. Because there's nothing... How do I explain it? They didn't give us stuff to where it would be like, this is your interpretation. This is your interpretation. We're not going to verify, confirm anything like that. A lot of the stuff that they verified and confirmed were things that the fandom was like, no, this is definite. This is definite. They're like, yeah, you got it. So I appreciate that. I get where they were going. I do think that, I'm not buying the we didn't know. Y'all knew. Y'all showed in everything that y'all gave us that y'all knew. I get it. Disney was like, and you were like, okay, hopefully what we're doing, they'll pick it up. And we did. And you could see their general excitement because even during the panel, they were like, oh, what's one fan theory that you heard that you believe in? And Sashir was like that Rio is Nikki's mom. And then I was about to call Agatha. Catherine was like, mom, father, same thing, mother, father. And then Jack was like, yeah, it's something that the audience thought that we could confirm. And then everyone's like, yeah, true. And I was like, see, there's no fucking way that you didn't think people would be interested in this.
That's what it feels like to be heard.
Exactly. And that's why I was like, even though we didn't get much, what we got is way better than getting seasons of a ship or a queer character that they don't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
And that's why I want, it doesn't even have to be a season 2. I want more Agatha and Rio backstory because I want to know what their thoughts are. I want to know.
Interesting.
Exactly. I'm like, I want to know what they believed happened because it's incredible what they've done. I want to know more of their vision for these characters. You know what I mean? So that's
and if Catherine has anything to do with it, then like
Catherine says she will play Agatha for as long as she and I want it all. And I don't know how like Aubrey will feel about, because her playing Death, and then she did, so yeah, I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. Yeah. But it's also like, if she's up for it, I'll watch it. Yeah. Like, I'll watch it. And it doesn't seem like they're going to do anything disrespectful. And like, based on, well, the last two episodes we talk about, I think they did that beautifully and fantastically as well. So it's a lot of dark themes that they talk about in this show that I did not expect a Disney show to do that well with. And I can only thank Jack and the writers and everybody involved with Agatha All Along, because I feel like if it was anybody else, they would not do this. Exactly. They would not have done this justice. So you can tell the people who made this show, who acted in this show, really gave a fuck about the show, the characters, the storyline, and us, the audience. And that is a rarity. Yeah. And I just want to give them kudos for that, because that doesn't happen all that. Someone who watches a great deal of TV, it's rare that that happens. It's rare that I feel satisfied while wanting more with a show and characters and a ship. Usually, you're left desiring more, killing Eve. Usually, you're left feeling used, the bold type. Like, it's still pissing me off that the only show and ship that I've had that has given me a truly satisfying ending is Glee. You know how fucking embarrassing it is to compliment Glee? I don't want to get into it, but they did great. I would love more. I hope they do more. And yeah, did you have any other thoughts about the episode? Did you have a grade for it?
It was a 10, A+.
Yeah.
A++.
Yes, I give it a 10 for sure. It's one of my favorite episodes. And yeah, I am thankful to be able to experience this show again one more time from the beginning. Oh, anyway. So yes, everybody did amazing. Clap, clap, claps all around. And yeah, let us know what y'all think of the series so far, of the episode. Would y'all like to see more? Would y'all have changed anything? Just all your thoughts and opinions about the series so far. We have 2 more episodes to go. They are the most emotional. I'm excited to talk about them. And then, so now we're going to do the random question of the day. What is your favorite social media trend? Do you want me to go first and then you can go? My favorite social media trend is Black people and their pets, or Black people talking to their pets, because we talk to our pets like they're our children. And like, they know English, they understand. Like, last episode I was talking to Yoshi. You can speak, Yoshi, get down, Yoshi, don't do that, you all day, and he will ignore the fuck out of you. The minute you're like, Yoshi, or I call him his middle name, Detravion, he's like, okay, no, you're right, I overstepped, my bad, I'm sorry, girl, I got you. You know, like, some people, like, you gotta be nice to it don't work. It don't work. It'll just be like, bitch, I'm not listening to nothing you say. I don't give a fuck. But
that's a trend. I thought that was just like natural.
Yes, but like, it's on, people are showing it on social media, like how they talk to their, but gotcha. I love it. Every video I'm like, this is hilarious. What's your favorite social media trend? I know you're not really on social media, but
I don't know.
You don't have anything that, like, you were like, I'm just gonna watch this no matter what, because it's always funny to me.
I find everything funny, so
you always send me like really cute cat videos, and
I know you're obsessed with cats.
For like you, I would think it would be gaming stuff. For Mama, she loves sending us and seeing Twinks dancing. Twinks dancing. She loves dance videos, especially when it's gaming and they do the Fallout and they do the voguing. She loves that. You send her that, she's gonna have a great day. She sends us it. She loves it, and I love that for her. I always send her those videos. I'm like, girl, you would love it. And then I try to send them to you too, and I see that you already hearted it. I'm like, okay. But yes, y'all send me a lot of cat videos and a lot of like people interacting with their pets. I'm like, yeah. So if it's that, I get a lot of Agatha and Rio videos on my timeline, and I send those to y'all, and a lot of like Catherine edits. And I send those because whenever mom sees Catherine, she smiles so big. Oh, like, I know that's right, girl.
As if that's her daughter.
As if that's her daughter. Catherine is older than her. What do you mean?
Really?
Yes. Wait, hold on. Catherine is gonna be 52.
She is older than mom.
Yeah, I told you that. She just be like, I'm like, I know, girl.
She's a proud parent.
Sure, parent, if you say so. I'm just like, I know, girl. I know. So I enjoy that. I enjoy sending y'all those videos. And yeah, like people, or they're like, their cats are coming up to them and wanting them to hold them and cuddle them.
Yoshi do that, but he be attacking my ass.
He does that to me all the time. Because you be messing with him.
I do not.
You do.
I just be minding my own business.
You be messing with him. You tell him he can't play with his toys.
Because that is disrespectful.
No, it's not. It's his toy. Yoshi.
If it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have been a thought.
Yoshi loves Stitch.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, Mo loves Stitch. And so last time we went to Disney, I got Yoshi a Stitch toy, and he like
attacking it. Why? Because it's a symbol of me. He be attacking me.
Because that's what he does to all his stuffed animals. Wow. Yes, he plays with them like that. That's why I got it for him.
Mickey. You could have got Minnie. You choose Stitch.
But the Stitch was cute. You don't own Stitch.
In this household, I do.
Whatever. So, but that's what I love. I love seeing videos of pets, or like satisfying videos, or like the color mixing. Like when they're like, we're gonna mix this color and see what it makes. I like those, and like cooking videos. Anytime I see, I'm gonna butcher his name, but I think it's Amari, the chocolatier, the French chocolatier who builds all the things out of chocolate. I follow him. I love his stuff. Listen, I want to go back to culinary school so bad. I would love to learn to do that. But yes, that's what I love. I love Black people talking to their pets. I love culinary stuff. I love Catherine edits. I love Agatha Rio edits. I love all the gay edits, and cooking and color mixing.
Damn.
Do you like the ASMR sand cutting?
I've seen those.
And then one of my coworkers was like, you should watch ASMR videos of people brushing horses, because you know how like horses, they shed, like I think she said they shed twice a year. So they have these special combs where and she's like, if you want to hear some ASMR, look up those. I'm going to look up those. Listen. But yes. So that was us. That was our thoughts and opinions on episodes 6 and 7 of Agatha All Along. Let us know what you thought. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all are still enjoying y'all Pride Month. And hug your family. Love on your people.
Let us know your favorite trend.
Let us know your favorite social media trend. And yes, thank y'all for listening. We will talk to y'all next time. Bye.